This is an election about choice. And if we hadn't gone independent, they would have been locked in with one Democrat and one Republican and virtually no other choice besides that. The people always deserve a choice. That's why I'm excited to be running as an independent.
I promise you, Republicans and independents who voted for me and those Arizonans who did not, I will do my best to prove worthy of the honor.
All right, and that was John McCain last night at his victory party. Big, big win. Of course, he spent $21 million more than he'd spent in all of his previous campaigns combined to beat back J.D. Hayworth. That's right.
The Mac is back, though.
Yeah, the Mac is back.
And Karen Tumulty for our post-politics segment. Thank you for joining us. So you just heard from our two spokesmen. What are the Democrats? How are they going to handle Florida? I mean, do they now feel like they need to get in for Meek? I mean, what happens?
You know, that's a really good question because, you know, at this point, Charlie Crist does have so much better of a chance of winning, I think, in just about anybody's poll. And, you know, there's this signs that he would caucus as a Democrat. So it's a really difficult spot for them to be in.
Well, you went down, I remember, right when Charlie Crist announced that he was switching parties. He's got a lot of money in the bank. He's done a brilliant job positioning himself as sort of the de facto Democrat.
And by the way,
still hold on to that? At
that point, nobody was predicting any of this. I mean, it just was, you know, looking like he had a couple of really bad options. So it's, you know, the fact that he has come this far on this strategy that at the beginning it seemed like only Charlie Crist believed in says a lot, I think.
And how worried are Republicans about the Scott victory down there? How quickly do we see Haley Barbour throw his arms around Rick Scott?
You know, it's the thing for Rick Scott is that he's running as a business executive, and the problem with that is his own record. And the reason that he had to, you know, leave the corporate suite was that it was not by choice. So
right, and other business problems as well. Let's just look over the overarching picture here about the incumbency thing, the Murkowski, et cetera. What do you read from this? Is this just simply that voters are willing to sort of cast throw the dice here and pick somebody that may be outside the mainstream, or are we reading too much into just a couple of big victories?
Well, one thing that's extraordinary to me is the degree to which Lisa Murkowski and John McCain were mirror opposites of each other in this. John McCain spent the money he had. Lisa Murkowski sat on $2 million. John McCain took his opponent seriously, went heavily negative, despite the fact that Lisa Murkowski was being advised to do that exact same thing. She believed that all she needed to do was run kind of glowing ads about her own record. So I think John McCain has demonstrated here the strategy by which incumbents can win this year. And Lisa Murkowski, who is essentially now the Martha Coakley of Alaska, has shown us what happens when you don't.
And Brad didn't remember the name, but Scott McAdams is our the Democratic nominee in Alaska. He has, as Amy pointed out earlier today, $4,000 in the bank. So, I mean, does it really even matter at the end of the day? I mean, the Republicans win in Alaska, right?
The Democrats right now, I can tell you, are trying to figure out if there is any way they can spin this into an opportunity. But I think they've got a lot going against them in Alaska.
And finally, what is you've been running around the country these days, what's your take on the likelihood that this attack line that Democrats are going to try here too, which is go negative, maybe that's a way to save the House, whether that's going to be able to work?
I think that's the only shot they've got at this point. People are so unhappy, and they're unhappy about the really big things that are going on in their lives. And there's not going to be much by way of economic improvement between now and November. So this is the Democrats' only shot.
Of course, I remember in 2006, this was the Republican strategy as well. Right. That's how they were going to save the House. That didn't work out so well.
We are out of time. Don't forget to follow us at Jon Karl on Twitter.com and Amy E. Walter.
Yep, that's it.
That's it. And who's the Rick Klein guy again?